Yeah. Let's go from 43b. Amar Shmuel. We started this yesterday. So Amar Shmuel Haiman the Osve Alpha Zuz. We had this yesterday. Just do it quickly. So someone lent somebody 1,000 zuz, and he gave him a collateral that was worth much less, the handle of a sickle. So what happened? Avid Casa de Magla, Avid Alpha Zuze. You lose the mashko and the collateral, you lose your money. Why? Rashi explains, because you accepted the collateral on condition that as long as it's here, I can demand payment. But if I lose it, so then I lost my chance of payment also. So either that has to be spoken out ahead of time, or it's an understanding. That can be two opinions, how you view that. You have to speak this out explicitly when you make this deal, or even if you don't speak it out. Charles, if you can mute yourself, that'd be great. Thank you. So, Avid Kasa Avid Alpha Zuzi. Aval Tarti Kasa, if you gave two sickles, so low. Then if you lose one of them, we don't say that you lost the whole thing. We don't say each one's worth 500, and therefore, if you lose one, it corresponds to half the loan. That's all viewed together as one collateral. Rav Nachman Amar Afilu Tarti Kasi. No, he argues. Even if you got two sickles, Avid Chada, Avid Chamish Meya, Avid Idach, Avid Kule. If you got two sickles, each one is corresponding to half the loan. So if you lost one of them, you lost your chance to collect 500. You lost the second one, then you're out. Then you lost your chance to collect anything. However, here's an interesting case. The two collaterals you got was a kasa, a handle of a sickle, and then vinaska, like a silver bar, which is used for payment. So in this case, you weren't really relying on the handle to be used. You didn't accept the handle as a collateral, and if you lose it, then you're out because you have this nascha, this silver block, and that silver block is used as payment. Its value is used. So in that case, if you lose the handle, we don't say that you lost anything from your loan, meaning from the ability to collect, because you're really hoping that nascha is really the main part of your collateral, because the silver is used to pay with. So since this collateral is potentially going to be used for payment, losing the handle is totally irrelevant. It's just there as a reminder that the guy owes you money, but it's not. But nothing more than that. Now, Hardai Amri, no, afilu kasa v'nascha, av'nascha, av'palga, av'kasa, av'kule. They argue and they say, no, even if you have a sickle and you have the silver bar, at the end of the day, you lose one, you lost half the loan, you lose the other one, you lose the whole loan. Okay. So, Tanan, our Mishnah says, I gave you a sela of v'shekel hayashava, and you gave me a collateral worth half the amount. One shekel is half of a sela. A sela is 4 dinarim. A shekel is 2 dinarim, half of a sela. So I lent you a sela. You gave me a collateral worth half of that. Now the collateral is lost. The other guy says, the borrower says, oh, says, I borrowed a sela, but that mashkon, that was worth 3 dinarim, a shekel plus a dinar. It was worth 3/4. I gave you $100, and the thing was worth $50. No, it wasn't. It was worth $75. So basically, the lender wants $50 back, and the borrower said, I only owe you $25 because the collateral was worth $75. Now, but what do you see over here? The guy got a collateral and he lost it. And our Mishnah says there's still going to be an oath of partial admission. But Shmuel just taught us if you lose the collateral, you lose your ability to collect. And yet our Mishnah says if you lose the collateral, you still have the ability to collect. So the Mishnah is contradicting Shmuel. What happens when a person loses the collateral? According to Shmuel, you're out. According to the Mishnah, you're in. It's not going to go. So Leimale ha kibalti. So Leimale ha kibalti. If the guy should just tell him, you already got your payment. By losing my collateral, you got your payment. So Masnisen b'deparish, Shmuel b'dloy parish. Our Mishnah is where you spoke it out, explicitly that the collateral is not going to be used as payment if it gets lost. You made that explicit. when you made the deal, I'm giving you the collateral, but if it gets lost, you still owe me money. And Shmuel is talking about where you didn't speak it out, a regular case. A guy gave a collateral, and now it got lost. You never spoke out these details. There, you're going to potentially lose your ability to collect. Now we're going to have a few approaches. This idea of Shmuel that you lose your collateral, you lose the ability to collect. We're going to try to suggest that maybe it's actually a dispute in the Tanaim in at least a few different cases. Very interesting cases. Lema Tanai. Maybe there's a dispute Tanaim about what Shmuel just said. So what would be that case? A guy lends to his friend, and then on collateral, and then the collateral gets lost. What happens? Yishava v'yitel esma osav divrei Rabbi Eliezer. The collateral gets lost. Rabbi Eliezer says you still have the ability to collect. Go make a shvuah and collect your money. Rabbi Akiva Omer Yachal Hushi Omer Lo Klumu B'Sina El Alamashkon Avad Amashkon Avad Mosacha. Rabbi Akiva says the borrower is going to say, I only lent you, I only borrowed from you on collateral, but if you lose the collateral, then you lost your ability to collect. So he cannot collect the money. So according to Rabbi Eliezer, if you lose the collateral, you could collect. According to Rabbi Akiva, you cannot collect. Sounds like they argue about this halacha of Shmuel. Do they agree to Shmuel or not? Rabbi Eliezer would argue, and Rabbi Akiva would agree. So the Gemara just ends off parenthetically. Aval malva elef zuz bishtar. Let's say you lent 1,000 zuz, and you have a document proving it. So what? That's going to make a difference because the document is what's going to be used for payment, not the collateral. So here it's much easier. If you have 1,000 zuz with a document, and you also have a collateral, in that case, divrei hakol av namashkon. Okay, so we'll have to see. Divrei hakol. Everyone says av namash. If you lose the collateral, avdu ma'osav, then you're going to lose. You're going to lose the money. Now let's see why. So heichidami. What exactly is the case? So what are they arguing about? And what's this last case of the document? It's some case where you lose the collateral, you lose the money. According to Rabbi Akiva, according to Rabbi Eliezer, he could still get the money. Okay, how much is the collateral worth? It's going to make a big. It's going to make a big difference. Heichidami. If the loan was 1,000 and the collateral is worth 1,000, so then my time with Rabbi Eliezer. According to Rabbi Eliezer, why should the lender make an oath and collect his money? The collateral is worth 1,000. When the collateral is worth 1,000 and a loan is worth 1,000, so if you lose the collateral, too bad for you. That was your payment. So elalav, it must be below shavi shir zuzi. It must be the collateral was worth much less than the loan. And now, what are Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Eliezer arguing about? Shmuel's law. When you lend on collateral, the collateral is worth much less. Do you, and you lose the collateral, did you lose your ability to collect or not? So Rabbi Eliezer will hold you did not lose your ability. Rabbi Akiva, you did lose your ability. Says the Gemara, look, you really bidelo shavi, if the collateral was not worth the amount of the loan, kuli amal eslu the Shmuel. Nobody agrees to Shmuel. Really, they're going to both argue, and they're going to say if it's not worth the amount, so then you don't lose your ability to collect. The hacha, our Mishnah is talking about, b'deshave shir zuzi, where the collateral is worth the amount of the loan. Now, if it's worth the amount of the loan, how come, according to Rabbi Eliezer, when you lose the collateral, you still have the ability to collect? The loan was $1,000. The collateral was $1,000. Now you lost the collateral. Rabbi Eliezer says, make an oath and collect your money. And Rabbi Akiva says, no. What are they arguing about? What's behind their argument? So here's an interesting thing. How do you view somebody who's watching a collateral? Is he an unpaid watchman? Is he a paid watchman? Is he the owner? Maybe he's the owner of the collateral. It's really his until further notice. How do you view that? So Rabbi Yitzchak says that really you're going to be the owner, and these two opinions are going to be disputing within the opinion of Rabbi Yitzchak. So Rabbi Eliezer holds you could collect, Rabbi Akiva holds you cannot collect. What are they arguing about? Ubud Rabbi Yitzchak and Miflagi. Damar Rabbi Yitzchak minayin lebal chov shekone mashkon. Rabbi Yitzchak holds a bal chov owns the mashkon. Now it seems to be a dispute. Owns it fully or owns it partially, right? Someone who's a borrower, if he borrows an object and an unavoidable accident happens to it, he has to pay. If a unpaid watchman or a paid watchman is watching something, and you're watching someone's dog for them or whatever it is, and a tornado hits the dog, you're not liable. But if you're borrowing the dog, then you would be liable. So now everyone agrees that according to Rabbi Yitzchak, you own this collateral on some capacity. So it could be you'll be obligated even if an unavoidable accident happens to it. Now, how does Rabbi Yitzchak know that you own the collateral? Well, there's a whole section in the Torah that says when a guy gives a collateral, but he needs it back. He's a very poor person. He only has one pair of pajamas, and he gives that to you. When it comes nighttime, you got to give it back to him. If he has only one pair of day clothing and he gives that to you, when it comes daytime, you have to give it back to them. And how does the Torah phrase that? Shene'amar ulachat yet tzedakah. You should make sure that you give him tzedakah. Give him back his pajamas. It's called tzedakah. So the Rabbi Yitzchak holds when it says tzedakah in eino kona mashkon tzedakah minayin. If you don't own the object, so where's the tzedakah? Tzedakah is charity, so you have to own it to be able to give it. So he says, since the Torah refers to giving back a collateral as a form of charity, it must be that you own the collateral. Now, obviously, anybody who's going to argue on Rabbi Yitzchak has to understand the Torah too. So they're obviously going to understand that even if you don't own the collateral and you're only an unpaid watchman, it's still considered charity by giving it to someone, giving it back to use. So that's an interesting question. In general, in the laws of charity, how much you have to be an owner of the object, that when you lend it out, when you give it someone, is it considered charity or not? It could have its roots in this Gemara. So Lema the Rabbi Yitzchak Tanai. So maybe Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva are arguing about the idea of Rabbi Yitzchak. If you own the collateral and you lose it, so then too bad. So then I'm sorry, you can't collect your money. But according to Rabbi Eliezer, even if you lose the collateral, you still could collect your money, because according to Rabbi Eliezer, you're only an unpaid watchman. When you're watching this guy's collateral, really it's his collateral. It's just sitting in your house. So if that's true, so then you never owned it, and therefore if it gets lost, so an unpaid watchman is not liable for loss or for loss or theft. He's only liable for negligence. So therefore, if the object gets lost, you can make an oath and say, the object got lost, I'm collecting my money. So Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva are arguing within the opinion of Rabbi Yitzchak. Do you own the collateral, or are you an unpaid watchman? Now, you can do a collateral at one of 2 points. You can give a collateral at the time of the loan. That's one time you give a collateral. Alternatively, when the loan's already been going on for a while, and it's past your due date or it's past your payday, right? So you're not paying up. So what are they going to do? Bezin will go and take a collateral from you and say, you better start paying up, at least start, monthly payments, something. Mm-hmm. Or, we took your car, your phone, whatever. So we're going to start closing on your house, those kinds of things. So now, maybe Rabbi Yitzchak says you only own the collateral when you get it, not at the time of the loan. Maybe at the time of the loan, you're just an unpaid watchman. The guy gave it to you. It's my object. I'm giving it to you to watch, just as to make sure, as a reminder that I owe you money. But if I have to collect from you already after the time of the loan, that's what Rabbi Yitzchak says, then you own it already. Because they took it from you as like, I'm keeping this if you don't pay up. So, Mashkino b'shas halava miyamar. Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva are arguing about when you loaned on collateral at the beginning. Here's $1,000. Here's a $100 collateral. That's their dispute. Rabbi Yitzchak might only be saying his novelty that you own the collateral when it's collected at a later point, but not at the time of the loan. So we're back to square one. What do Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Eliezer argue about? So, they might all argue with Rabbi Yitzchak when it was at a later point. So now it's very interesting. When you're watching someone's lost object, what do you consider? You find a lost object on the street. Very interesting. It's in your house. You're waiting. You put up signs. You send out WhatsApps. They're going to come and claim their lost object. So what are you? Are you an unpaid watchman? Well, no one's paying you, right? So you're not a borrower. That was never part of the deal. You're definitely not the owner. So simply understood, you're an unpaid watchman. Okay. However, there's one opinion, Rabbi Yosef, we're about to see that you're really a paid watchman. What's your payment? What's the payment? You're in the middle of doing a mitzvah. The rule is when you're involved in a mitzvah, you're exempt from other mitzvahs. So when you're watching that object and someone knocks on your door because they want charity, you are not obligated to give them charity because you're in the middle of a mitzvah. Mm-hmm. It's a big discussion in the middle of davening. Yeah. In the middle of davening, you're in the middle of davening. Someone wants money. You're not obligated to give them. So I think or someone's on Orbach. I think he used to put on a stender. So whatever, just to, yeah, those kinds of discussions. When you're involved in a mitzvah, you're exempt from a mitzvah. So that's also a form of payment because you're getting paid by watching the object, exempting yourself from. So maybe they're arguing now, how do you view a collateral? Maybe that's the same as a lost object. Now, how do you view a collateral? Is a collateral you're also like you're doing a mitzvah by watching the guy's collateral? You're an unpaid watchman? Or no, you're being a paid watchman. So let's see. Shomer Aveda Kamiflagi Ditmar. Shomer Aveda. Rabba Amar Kishomer Chinam. Rabba says a simple understanding. You are like an unpaid watchman when you're watching someone's lost object. Rav Yosef Amar no Kishomer Sachar Dami. You're like a paid watchman. You're a paid watchman. Why? Because you're getting reward of the mitzvah. You're getting reward of the mitzvah, and therefore you are exempt. You are exempt. Now maybe somebody who's loaning. This is interesting now. And maybe there's footnotes about this, but what exactly is the mitzvah that the lender is doing by watching someone's collateral? So I guess at the end of the day, they did a mitzvah by lending money, and now they're watching it to ensure the guy pays back. I mean, I didn't have a chance to look it up. What exactly is the big mitzvah you're doing by watching someone's collateral?
Use from giving charity to poor persons. The saving is considered a financial benefit and renders a guardian of a lost article a paid custodian.
Right. So by a lost object, I understand you're doing a mitzvah. You're watching. You're returning a lost object. By watching someone's collateral, we're saying that's also a mitzvah. What's the mitzvah by watching someone's collateral?
Right, and this exemption applies only when the guardian is actually involved in the carrying of the lost object. Alternatively, since tending to a lost object is a biblical obligation, and in general, reward is bestowed upon those who do mitzvah, the Torah imposed upon the guardian the ability of a paid custodian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does it say how it applies to a collateral, or?
No, it just calls it giving charity for the mitzvah.
Right, that's by a lost object.
Right. Yeah. Eliezer rules that the lender is only an unpaid shomer with regard to the collateral, thus holds the loss of the collateral does not cause the lender to lose corresponding part of it. Goes on and on.
Okay, fine. So we have to see. So, but the point is that the dispute by watching a lost object is going to be the same dispute watching someone's collateral. According to Rabbi Eliezer, you're an unpaid watchman. So therefore, when you lose the collateral, you that's not considered payment for you, and therefore you make an oath and you can collect your money. According to Rabbi Akiva, you're considered more than that. You're considered someone who's doing a mitzvah, and you're getting paid for that, and therefore when you lose that object, you cannot make an oath and go and collect. So now says the Gemara, Lema de Rabbi Yosef Tanaihi. Really, is this Rabbi Yosef who holds that when you're watching a lost object, you're considered a paid watchman? Is that a machlokas Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva? Lo. B'shomer aveda kulama islu Rabbi Yosef. Really, everyone agrees to Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Eliezer will agree that when you're watching a lost object, you're involved in a mitzvah, paid watchman, no problem. V'hacha b'malvet sarich lemashkon kamiflagi. We're talking about an interesting case. The lender, he actually needs the mashkon. He wants to use it. He wants to use the collateral. The lender wants to use the collateral. Mar savar mitzvah ka'avid, umar savar lav mitzvah ka'avid. So according to Rabbi Eliezer, since you need the mashkon, there's no mitzvah here. You're using it for your own benefit. That's why there's no mitzvah here, and therefore, when you lose the object, you have to you can take an oath and collect your money.
It's always a useful object.
Right. Yeah. Correct. Correct. There's a person's painting that's on your wall or whatever. Yeah. But he gives you his newest iPhone or whatever. So he gives you his Tesla. So and Rabbi Akiva says, well, since you're using the object, and it sounds like it's continuing. You're using the object. You're involved in a mitzvah because it sounds like it's like the guy's paying you back. This is part of the payment. Paying back as a mitzvah. You're also involved in a mitzvah. Therefore, if you lose the object, then you will not be able to get paid back. Okay. Now, how do you deal with collaterals when Shemitah comes? Lema ketanai. Hamalves chaver ala mashkon. So Shemitah, the guy lent you money and you gave him a collateral, and comes Shemitah, and we know that Shemitah cancels loans. Shemitah cancels loans when in the event that you can put pressure on the guy to pay you back. In the event that you gave him a collateral, you're not putting pressure on him. He already has the payment in his house. So now, even though the collateral is only it's only worth half of the loan, so $1,000 loan and a $500 collateral, eino mishamit. Shemitah will not cancel this loan. We'll have to get back to exactly those details, but it does not cancel the loan. That is Divrei Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. That is the opinion of Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. Now, when we say Shemitah does not cancel the loan, does it mean that it doesn't cancel the loan at all, or it doesn't cancel the 500, but the other 500 does cancel, right? So you have a loan of $1,000, the collateral is worth 500. So now we're saying Shemitah doesn't cancel. Doesn't cancel what? Doesn't cancel the whole 1,000, or doesn't cancel only 500. That's going to be a back and forth in a second. Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi Omer im hayam mashkano keneged chovo. If the mashkan was corresponding to the loan, then eino mishamit. Then it's not going to cancel the loan because you have the payment right here. No one's going to put pressure on you to collect. You have payment ready. V'im lav, if it's not worth the amount of the loan, so then v'im lav mishamit. Then Shemitah will cancel the loan. Okay, back to our question. What did it mean it's not going to cancel? It doesn't cancel at all, or it doesn't cancel only corresponding to the collateral? What did they mean by that? It only means it doesn't cancel to the part that it's corresponding to. So $1,000 loan, $500 collateral, it's not going to cancel the $500 of the loan because that you already have payment there, no reason to cancel. The other 500, it will cancel. If that's true, Michlal Rabbi Yehuda Anasi Savar, Kenegdo Nami Mishamit. Then according to Rabbi Yehuda Anasi, it's a big novelty that you have a collateral that's worth 500, and even that part of the loan is going to be canceled. The whole canceling is the Torah says lo yigos, that a person shouldn't put pressure on you to collect his money. So only when the pasuk applies that a person would put pressure on somebody do we say that Shemitah cancels loans. Here, there's no reason to put pressure on the guy because he has your collateral in it already in his possession. Mm-hmm. So according to Rabbi Nasi, it's going to cancel the loan. So then why are you holding on to the collateral? What does it do for you? Elamai toughest mashkan, it's going to be canceled anyways. So that can't be. Must be when the first opinion said it doesn't cancel. Elav keneged kula. It's not going to cancel the loan at all. So the $500 collateral will not, when Shemitah comes, the whole $1,000 loan will not be canceled. And what are they arguing about? Ubid Shmuel kamiflagi. They argue about the opinion of Shmuel that when you lose the collateral, which is worth less than the loan, do you lose the whole loan or not? So if you would say that you lose the whole loan, so then we say that the collateral is always worth the whole loan, even though it's worth less. So even though in this case the collateral is worth less, but still Shemitah is not going to cancel any part of the loan. And according to Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, he argues on Shmuel that we don't say that losing a collateral you lose the whole payment, and therefore it's only going to cancel corresponding to the whatever it's worth in the loan, but it doesn't. But the rest of the loan will be canceled. Says the Gemara, no. La'olam kinegdo. Really, the first opinion holds it only doesn't cancel whatever it's worth. So if it's $1,000 loan and a $500 collateral, it will not cancel $500 of the loan. It will cancel the other 500. Nothing to do with Shmuel. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi then says it won't even cancel the 500. You have a collateral, it's worth 500. Shemitah comes, it's saying that it will cancel the whole thing, even the part corresponding to the collateral. So Tanakama Savar Kenegdo, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi Savar Kenegdo Nami Mishamed. It'll cancel the whole loan, even the one corresponding to the collateral. You asked me earlier when I suggested this, you asked me, well, if it's going to cancel the whole thing, why am I holding on to the collateral? For what reason? Says the Gemara, it's just a way of reminder that I owe you money. It's not it's not to be used as payment necessarily. It's just a way to remember, but it doesn't have any value towards the loan per se. And therefore, when Shemitah comes, it'll cancel the whole loan. Well, don't they have a collateral? You do have a collateral, but it's just there as a remembrance. It's not there for anything more than that, at least in regards to Shemitah. Hadron Allah, Shavuot, yeah.
If you have the collateral, you could
use the collateral. Could you sell? I don't know if you could sell a collateral. It belongs to someone else. Oh, one second. So what happens if the loan was canceled? You have to get back the collateral. Shemitah would cancel the whole loan. Or you say no, or you say the collateral is already viewed now as payment, and therefore the whole Shemitah not canceling loans is that a person shouldn't put pressure on someone else to pay him back, but it's like you already gave him payment. Right. It'll just take an effect later, but the payment is here today. Or no, it's no payment here today. It's just a constant reminder that I owe you money. If I don't pay you by the due date, then maybe it'll be used as payment. At the end of the day. Okay.
Oh.
Here comes the Mishnah. I think it's broken down to about 8 Mishnayos in Mishnah Yomi. So it's 8 Mishnayos. We have one long Amud. So let's see how many. A lot of different cases, and let's see what we can do. Yeah, a lot of so many halachas about monetary matters are all in this Mishnah. So you can always look back here to 44, 45 in Shavuos to remember. Okay, so we have biblical oaths and we have rabbinical oaths. What's the difference? A biblical oath is to exempt yourself. A rabbinical oath is going to be always to collect. There's no biblical oath that you collect. It's only to exempt yourself. Kol hanishbayin shebetorah nishbayin v'lo mishalmin. All the shavuos in the Torah that we've been discussing throughout the whole Masechta is going to be a shavua where you take it and you don't pay. You exempt yourself. And the following, each one was a different rabbinical enactment, which we have to see in the Gemara, are things that are oaths that the rabbis enacted. Ve'elu nishbayin v'notlin, you're making sure when you're collecting notel to take, right? Natila sedayim, you take the cup to wash. Notel. Hasachir, a worker, a nigzal, the guy that was stolen from, hanechbal, the guy that was injured, or shekinegdo chashel shua, the guy that you're in court against he's supposed to make the oath, but he's a suspicious kind of guy. We don't trust him, so then you make the oath. Those are all rabbinical oaths that you make to collect. And also, chanvani al pinkaso, that the Mishnah is going to explain each case. Chanvani al pinkaso is like the bookkeeper. He's a money changer. So basically, the guy owes his workers money, and he doesn't have fast cash on him. So he tells the guy, the bank teller. The bank teller, listen, pay my workers, I'll pay you back. And now a fight breaks out that the worker said we never got paid money, and the bank teller said you loaned on credit, and I never got your money back. So in that case, we're going to see it's a dispute who makes the oath. Okay, one by one. A worker, hasachir, ketzad, amarlo tein li schari. I worked for you. Give me my wages. Sheish chabiyadcha. You have my wages in your hand. Give it to me. You owe me money. So hu omer, the boss says, nasati, I gave it to you already. And the worker says, valo omer lo natalti, I got nothing. Hu nishva benotel. The worker can make an oath and collect his money. We want people to work for people. We want society to function. So we allow the worker to make an oath that he never got paid and collect the money. Rabbi Yehuda omer, no. It's only when there's a partial admission. Omer achite sham miktas hoda. Ketzad, what's the case? Amar lo tein li schari chamishim dinar. you owe me wage of 50 dinars. The who omer, and the guy says his kabalti dinner's up. He says, no, I only got paid. I gave you already, a dinner's up. So he's asking for a lot of money. The guy is admitting he paid him back some of the money. Only then will Rabbi Yehuda say that the worker can make an oath. But if you deny getting any payment, then he says you cannot. Nigzal, a guy that was stolen from. Ketzad, how you may so the guy witnesses saw you walk into the guy's house. So the guy's claiming that he went in to take his collateral back without permission. So the guy walked in empty-handed and he walked out with 2 shopping carts worth. So so the guy says, "Kilei natalta, I took back my stuff." V'hu omer lo natalti, and the guy said, "No, you took my stuff." So what happens? Who nishba v'notel, the guy that was stolen from can make an oath that the robber really took not the collateral, but rather took the owner's possessions, and he can make an oath and take back what was stolen from him. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, only if there's a partial admission. Makes us hoda. Ketzad Amar lo shnei kelim talti. You took 2 vessels from me. Omer, no, I only took 1 vessel from you. Lo natalti ela echad. I only take 1 vessel from you. In that case, the person that was stolen from can make an oath and collect back the other vessel. Nechbal, somebody who got injured. Ketzad hayumeidim aso shenechnas takas yado shalem v'yatzachavel. The guy walks into a meeting, behind closed doors, totally healthy. Walks out black and blue. So v'yatzachavel v'amar lo chavalta bi. You punched me in the face. V'homer lo chavalti. No, I didn't. Maybe the guy fell down. Maybe the guy tripped. Who knows? Harezeh nishra b'notel. So the guy that got punched can make an oath that the puncher, that the other guy owes him money. Whatever money you get when you get injured, you have to get your medical fees paid for, and you get paid for disability that you've missed work, etc., etc. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, no, you have to have partial admission. For example, you punched me twice. The Omer, no, not twice. 1 punch was good enough. I only punched you once. So there we have a partial admission. Therefore, you're going to be liable to make an oath. Next, shekenegdo, when the guy that you're in court with is a suspicious kind of guy, and therefore, even though he's liable to make an oath, however, he can't make an oath. So you make the oath instead and collect the money. Shekenegdo chashul al shvua, Kate, what's the case? Whether achas shvuas eidos, the oath of testimony, he swore falsely, achas shvuas pikadon, or the oath of deposit, he swore falsely, or vafilu shvuas shav, he still made a shvua for not the table, the chair, chair's a table. All those would be cases that if he did that, he cannot swear now in this court case. Or one was a gambler, the Mishnah Sanhedrin. Your 2 reasons why you're not allowed to testify if you're a gambler, either because you're so not involved in the world, or because it's a form of stealing. Umalva beribis, you lend with interest, or mafricheyonim, another form of gambling, you raise pigeons, or vesochre shvius, you do business with fruits that grew in the 7th year. All those are people that are suspicious for stealing and things like that. So we don't trust them to make an oath regarding money either. So what happens? The other guy, shekenegdo nishma v'notel, the other guy will make the oath and collect his money. Now, what happens if they're both they're both good gamblers, and now they're both in court over something? Hayushneim chashudin. So what happens? Chazra hashulim koma. Cryptic statement. I think the Gemara doesn't talk about it. The oath goes back to its place. That means it goes back to Har Sinai, or it means it goes back, and basically nobody can make an oath. So then someone has to pay. Divrei Rabbi Yosi, Meir Omer Yachlok. If no one can make an oath, so then instead of one guy paying, rather you split the money. That the Gemara is going to talk about more. Chenvani al pinkaso. You go and you tell the bank teller, listen, I don't have money right now, but I need to pay my workers. Can you pay them for me? So you pay them for me, I'll pay you back. Okay, he says, sure. So now all the workers come and say, we never got paid. The bank teller says, we never got paid. They both come to the boss, to the owner of the company, and they said, to me, you promised to pay back. I gave your workers money. To me, you owe money, and I never got the money. and the workers are saying, listen, we work for you, not for the bank teller, and we never got paid yet. So they both come to the owner, and they both make this claim. So Ketzad. Lo shiyomer lo kazal up and kazal. Doesn't it say in your notebook, Sha'at chayavli? It says in my notebook and my ledger that you're obligated to me, Masayim Zuz. Ella Omer Lo, Tain Libnisa Sayim Chitin, and or Tain Lipoli, Sela Maos. Give to my worker, or give to my children a sela of either an amount of Sasayim Chitin, an amount of wheat, or give that person a sela Maos. Give him a sela, which is a currency, a coin. Give him the coin, and I'll pay you back. So, Hu Omer Nasati, the bank teller said, I paid back. The Heinom, the workers are saying, we never got the money. Lo natalnu. So what happens? Hu Nishma Benoto, the bank teller can make a shvuah, he never got paid money, and collect from the owner. The Hein and the workers can also do that. The Hein Nishbayin Benotlin, they can also make a shvuah and collect money from the owner. So it's a funny thing, he's out twice. Right? Let's see, he's only supposed to dish out at most whatever it is, $1,000 to give to the bank teller to give over to the workers. But now they're both making a shvuah and they both can collect from him. Amr ben Nanas, this can't be. Ketzad elu buying that is shvuah shav. Someone's going to end up making a false oath over here because it can't be. Someone had to get paid over here. How can the bank teller who says he paid make an oath to say I paid? But at the same time, the workers are saying we never got the money. Something's fishy. So Ben Nana says you can't do that. Rather, what do you do instead? Elahu notel shelo b'shvuah. Ve'hein notel shelo b'shvuah. The opposite, the extreme opposite. They both can collect without an oath. They both have a definite claim on the guy. They both can collect without an oath, but you can't make the oath because it's going to come out a false oath. Obviously, the first opinion held that that's what you have to do. Each one makes their own valid oath, just because at the end of the day there'll be something invalid in the oaths together is not going to be not going to matter. So, Amar lechenvani, a guy tells the bank teller, he says, "Tain li b'dinner peros, v'nasan lo." So he tells him, "Give me a dinner of peros." So, give me that amount of Tainli b'dinner pairs, v'nasalo, and he gave him. So now, Amar lo tainli oso dinner. So now basically, like you're at the store, there's a transaction going on. He said, I want fruits for a dinner. So he gave him the fruits. So now he tells him, so give me my money. You go to the store, he gives you the milk. Mm-hmm. So he says, give me the money. So he said, I gave it to you already. So Amar lo nasati lach, v'nasato b'anpoli, that I put in your wallet. Or I put in the cash register. I gave you the money already. So what happens? Yishava balabayis shen nasan lo as a dinner. So the customer makes a oath that he gave him the dinner that he already paid him, and therefore now he could and I guess now he can collect the fruits. I think the Gemara is going to talk about it. The fruits. Where are the fruits? The fruits are in a public domain, right? They're not in his hands yet. Yeah,
you measured out the produce and put it in your money pouch.
Yeah, so that's. I don't think he gave him. I don't know if he gave him the fruits yet. What does it say there?
Before you measure out.
That was the first case, or that's the second case? So what's the first case?
Oh, this is first case. How come both? But that's no.
Yeah. So
both came to for judgment.
Right. Yeah, it's a case after that.
They know. Yeah.
Right.
But that was what we're talking about. The storekeeper collects without an oath, and the worker collects.
Correct.
Having mentioned the storekeeper swears and collects, the mission presents related ruling. If a housekeeper told the story to be my debtor's,
Right.
and gave it to him, he told him.
I guess it says he gave it to him. He gave him the fruits already. And the guy says, Yomi the money. I gave you the money already. So that he makes an oath that he gave him the money already. Okay. Amar lo tainli as a payers. The guy says, give me the fruits. So then, and now it's the opposite case. Give me the milk. So give me the milk. I said, I gave it to you already. Amar lo nasati lach. And you took it home with you already. You brought the milk home already. So now what happens? The guy says, I never got the milk. Now the store owner says, so now the Mishnah says, Yishava Chenvani. The store owner makes a shvua that he already gave the milk to the guy. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, we'll continue from here. Kol shaperes biyado, whoever has the fruits in their possession, yado al yona, his hand is on top, meaning I think it means that he does not have to make an oath. It's on the other guy. The guy that has the fruits in his possession has the upper hand. So we'll start from this tomorrow.